welcome to the Irish Artisan Yarn podcast. A bit of a different setup today. This is going to be a shop preview for all the things that will be going on the website this Friday, the 23rd of January at 6 p.m. If you don't know who I am, I'm Tara and I'm the hand dyer and the owner behind Irish Artisan Yarn. And I have started up my podcast, which was very sporadic over the last few years, but I'm trying to do maybe 2 videos a month. If you haven't seen, you can go back and watch my first video, which is like a welcome back video for the year. And this one is going to be talking about the different yarns, the different patterns you can make, and sharing all the goodness I've been dyeing in the studio. So I will get started. First of all, it is Valentine's Day in a few weeks, which is crazy that we'll be in February, but I have a Valentine's launch. So I have a few different things for the shop update. I should note that you can find everything on my website, which is www.irishartisanyarn.com. I will put all the information that I'm talking about in the show notes below, patterns, my website links, and lots of various different things. And if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments, and please do subscribe and share because it really helps my growth on YouTube and getting out to people who like watching knitting vlogs, and also going to do a bit of crochet, a bit of sewing, a bit of everything. So we've really started planning our vegetable garden for this year and what we're going to grow. So if that's your type of thing, hit subscribe as I'd really appreciate it. So we'll get started on the Valentine's collection. So there's 3 different things. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen that I have posted a few sneak peeks. But the first thing is the mini skein set. So this is the mini skein set that will be available on the website on Friday. This is on our Merino, 4-ply Merino base. This is inspired by, I had a colour a few years ago called Croya, which I'm pretty sure I should have checked. I think it's Love in Gaelic. So this is really lovely minis. So 5 different colours, 100% merino, superwash merino these are, 4-ply fingering weight, and 80 meters per 20 grams. So that is the first little Valentine's bundle that will be available. The next bundle, and I have never dyed these as mini, so I was really excited, is, and it's so popular, Storie. How lovely do they look? Exactly the same colour, but they look completely different obviously on the Storie. So this is Storie and silk, again 20 gram minis, but I am so happy with how these turned out. Just making sure it's focused in on those. And the thing is, depending on what project you want to do, you could also, the idea is if you wanted to hold them double, you could. So you could hold, like, they go really well together, if that makes sense. You could hold the 4-ply with the lace weight. So those will be available. These are all, I should say, available to purchase straight away on the Friday. They're all in stock. There'll be no waiting around for them to be dyed. So that does also mean that it's limited quantities because it's just whatever I've dyed. And then for the sock knitters out there, or just if you like merino nylon, I have a little bundle, a little sort of kind of like a fade, but it's a little Valentine's fade. So this is 3 skeins, 50 grams each. You get 150 grams of yarn, so perfect for like a shawl or different patterns. And the colours are just quite fun. See if I can show you. So they are the little Valentine's bundle for 2026, which is slightly crazy. I was doing the labels. I wrote 2025 and then thought, oh no, we're a year ahead. So they are the Valentine's yarn that will be available this Friday. And so many things to talk you through. I should probably also talk about what I'm wearing. So this is, I'll stand back so you can see it. This is the Kismet jumper by Unwind Knitwear. Again, I'll put in the show notes below. I love this jumper. Lucy, a really lovely sample knitter, knitted it for me. I wear it so much. It is in our 4-ply Merino Cashmere, which I haven't had a huge amount of stock of, but I do now for the shop update. So the colourways I am wearing, just to give you an idea, I'm wearing clay at the top. I love that neutral because it's not gold. It's not cold, I was trying to say. It's not gold either, but it's not like a cold grey. It's really lovely, warm sort of taupe. So clay. And then again, we have indigo, which is the main dark navy. Then maybe I'll show you on the cuff, it's easier. We have mulberry, which has been out of stock, and we have marine, which has also been out of stock. So they are back in stock for this website update on the Friday. But I love the way the colour combination worked. It was quite difficult when you're picking a pattern for colour work. We didn't know how the colours would play, but I'm really pleased with it. And Lucy's an amazing knitter, so I'm over the moon with this jumper. It is so lovely and warm. It is merino cashmere, so It does have a slight bit of pilling, but I've debobbled it with my electric defuzzer. I say the first pilling is the worst, but for the softness, you get over it because I just love it. And I'm not very good with harsher yarns with my skin, especially after having children. Don't know if anyone else experienced that. After having my 2 children, my skin became really sensitive. So Merinos and Cashmeres and Alpacas and silks definitely suit me a lot better. The rustic yarns I don't seem to be able to wear as much, but I'm really pleased that's what I'm wearing. And then on to, I've got lots of pattern ideas, but we have a new pattern launching. So Daniela Taylor has designed us in this yarn. I haven't been able to launch it because I've been waiting for a delivery. The Valentine neckerchief scarf. Now this was designed last summer, I think. You will have seen it's really in at the minute to have these really lovely triangular sort of little scarves. I don't want to ruin my microphone. But this is in the, again, mulberry and marine colourway. So you can do a stripe version, be lovely in the neutrals, or I've been wearing this one a lot in the clay, which actually goes really well with what I'm wearing. Not intentional, but a little, really lovely. I just tie it around, little scarf, perfect. This weather, if you hear the rain, I'm out in the studio, which obviously I like a little log cabin. And yeah, so that is the Valentine neckerchief, which will be launching this Friday. So really lovely pattern. I can't remember the exact amount. I should have looked that up, but again, I'll put it in the show notes below. And then we'll go on to other yarn, and then we'll talk about patterns as I go through. So the Mohair, we have, if you haven't seen our brand before, Irish Artisan Yarn, last year I ventured out and having some yarn dyed for me. So we have a collection of 3 different bases: the 4-ply Merino Cashmere, the Superkid Mohair Silk, and then also our DK Merino Alpaca, which I'll talk you through. But we now have, I need to actually count because I can't remember, 2, 4, 12 colours of the Mohair now. And we have some new colours. So this is Lapis. I'm so happy with how these all came out. We have Lapis, we have Teal, and I was actually thinking they would be lovely together. Quite a lot of cardigans I've seen recently are just using Mohair, maybe holding 2 strands together. So I was thinking you could put those together to get this sort of like marled effect. And then you can probably see on the camera here, but we also have Midnight, Cobalt. They look quite similar, but they're actually not. There you go, see the difference. Midnight is a lot more of a darker sort of navy, and then Cobalt, and then just to give you an idea, Lapis. You can see they sort of fade really nicely. So blues are really popular. Maybe a lot of people, I love blue, but it seems to be a good seller. We have Azure, Moss, Thistle, Hydrangea, not Hydrangea, Hyacinth. Hyacinth. This is so lovely, and there's a really lovely shawl that I have been wearing, which has the navy mane and then little hyacinth as the lace border. I'll put that in the show notes. Fuchsia Blush, Dove and Taupe. I have to remember all the names. So the Mohair will all be available. We've had a huge stock update of that, and some of the items, just to give you an idea of what you can make with it. I was going to wear this, but it's quite chilly today here. I should have also said we are in Northern Ireland. We live along the coast, and the wind, it's so windy today. But this is the Lace and Fade Boxy by Joji Locatelli. I love this pattern. Emily, another sample knitter, made it for me. I was going to wear this today because I thought how appropriate for a Valentine's Day, but I went for it's got 3/4 length sleeves, which I love, but I went for the longer sleeve option today out here. But this would be gorgeous. So you can also make this as a fade. That's the idea. So 5 different skeins. You could actually do it with probably leftovers, do it with scraps. You could also, if you've got 2 sets, you could probably do it with the, because that's 300 grams of yarn, that'd be good. You could probably do it with the Valentine sets, but this is the fuchsia mohair in between. And this is a really lovely pattern. If you're a bit funny about mohair, which I know some people doesn't agree with, I find for a scarf sometimes it's not amazing for me, but for a garment, because the neckline, this is our merino bamboo silk, as the other colour, I actually find this completely fine to wear because the mohair isn't really touching your skin, if that makes sense, because it's a really lovely oversized boxy sweater. But I adore this jumper. So that's the Lace and Fade Boxy, and that colourway there, the pink, is Merino, which will also be available on the website on the merino bamboo silk. That was part of our Venice collection. Sorry, it's my phone now going off. Should put that on silent. So that is the Lace and Fade Boxy. And then the other idea you can do, if you have come to our shows, you will have seen this sample a lot. This is the Chervon Cloud Shawl Scarf. This is a free pattern on Ravelry, but the free pattern is completely different. This sample was done in a Slub and then a Mohair or a Storie, same effect. So we have a lot of Slub yarn. The Slub yarn has been so popular. I launched it, was it last year? Might have even been the year before, you know, when you start thinking, losing track of time, but it's been really popular. So this is the Chervon Cloud, and this is really lovely. And it's just one skein of Slub, and then for this size, one skein of Mohair. No, sorry, 2 balls of Mohair or one skein of Storie, 50 grams effectively. So that is really lovely. And I'll talk you through the Slub colours. So we have, I'll bring them through, make sure I've got them all. Ooh. So the colourway that you saw there was Dunfanaghy, which is this one. If you have followed along, you will know I love Dunfanaghy in Ireland. So Dunfanaghy, and then we have Orlock, a very, very popular favourite. This is probably one of our best sellers. And I just think the Slub yarn is just great fun. Then we have Parga, that was part of the Grease collection, which was last year. So if you're thinking of what to pair this with, for example, you could do the Parga colourway with Azure, would look really, really lovely. So those two together. So that's the idea. You can match them. And these colours I have designed so that they work with all the yarn. For example, Orlock with Thistle, or you could do Orlock with Blush. And then we have Bougainvillea. Sorry, I was waiting for the camera to focus. And I think this would look so lovely with Hyacinth. It would look quite different. And then another firm favourite, Grease. That was the Grease collection. So the main colourway for Grease. And then Corfu, a really lovely neutral. I was thinking this would be a really lovely cardigan held with a mohair. Could hold it with either Dove or Taupe if you're thinking of doing something a little bit more natural looking with the Dove. So the Slub will be available. And then we also have, because I'll just talk you through so we have Alpaca Silk, one of our best sellers. We have Merino Bamboo Silk, another good seller. Slub, a little bit of Yak, a little bit of Super Chunky, because honestly, Super Chunky just seems to fly off the shelves at shows. So I haven't had it on the website in quite a while. I'll talk you through it actually. There's a few colours available. Perfect. I know that we're in January, so I know that you're probably wanting to maybe knit for the summer. I do have some exciting yarn coming for the summer, but if you're still enjoying the sort of chunkier knits with this weather, I don't know if you can hear the rain, it's crazy. But again, we have Dunfanaghy, one of my favourite colours. I just love how this colour comes out. And then we have Grease, that was really popular actually at the show. And then Gingerbread House, that was one of our Christmas colourways, which was really popular. Bit of fun, really lovely fun. You can make one skein, they're 150 grams, so one skein will get you a hat easily. You might even get you a hat and a little neck scarf, and then Orlock. So that is the Super Chunky available in the shop update. I'll talk you through the Yak. So there's only a couple of different colours of Yak because there'll be a bigger Yak update later in the year, but we have Dunfanaghy. But it's amazing how different it looks on the different bases, because Yak is a grey base, and this is the Merino Silken Yak. And then just for a bit of a change, we've done the Merino Yak and Nylon for the Belfast. So this could be for socks, because we thought it was a really lovely colour for, well, unisex socks, but sometimes it's quite difficult to find colours that would be good for men. We have quite a lot of this one. Belfast is such a popular colourway in the past. I haven't dyed it in a while, so I thought I'd bring it back to the shop update. So that is on with nylon, a little bit of nylon. And then just to show you the undyed Yak, because I actually have done a sweater in this. I didn't bring it to show you, I'll bring it another time. This is the lovely grey of the undyed Yak. I love this colour. So I'm going to actually have a selection of neutrals available, undyed naturals, in the shop update, because I've got this, I've got a Merino bamboo silk, which is in a cream. I've got the Alpaca silk, which is so popular in the natural. I've actually got quite a lot. I've got the Storie in the ecru, which is really lovely to hold for like a sweater or something, especially if you have a sweater's quantity of yarn and you want, it's 4-ply, you want to knit something DK and make sort of a bit more lighter, make it sort of have a cream overall tone. What else do I have? Oh, I have this, which is, this is a discontinued, this will be on sale, but this is a Corriedale Gotland natural. Can't remember how much. Enough for a sweater, I think, 4 or 5, 7 skeins. But again, it's sort of like the yak, it's a bit lighter. So they will have a section under the website because a lot of people have actually been asking for more undyed and naturals. The next thing, let's talk about, oh, I had one more pattern to show you in this yarn. I forgot, a crochet pattern. So this is the, oh, I have to remember, Petal Spell Slipover by Stitch Storie. This was a new pattern last year. It's a crochet pattern. So really lovely with like a long sleeve top underneath, or in the summer. I haven't worn it in the summer yet because I got it, when did I have it? At the end of last year. Becky made this for me and I was really happy. So this is in the colourway Emerald. Probably haven't seen it because I haven't had Emerald. Emerald sold out so well last year. So Emerald is back in stock and it's a really lovely crochet design sheet. I just put some buttons on the side. You can do buttons or a tie. I believe this is the first pattern from this designer. It uses 7 balls. For this, I know crochet eats more yarn, but if you're a crochet lover, this is a really lovely, sort of like a slipover that you can wear either in the summer or the winter, layering. But I thought it was a really pretty pattern. So that is Emerald. I'm just going to have a quick drink. But let's talk about the other yarn that I stock. So this is the Alpaca Merino DK. I have a few different patterns to talk you through. We have the famous ranunculus sweater, which is just so lovely. This is in the colourway Wild Berry. So this is, if you haven't seen this pattern, you can make it all the way from lace. I do have lots of samples. Lace all the way up to, I think you can do it in Aran. It's on Ravelry, ranunculus, so clever. Same yardage or meterage, no matter what yarn size you do, because you do the same size needles. So really, really clever pattern. So this is in the colourway Wild Berry. We have fully stocked our DK. Again, this was a new venture for me last year. I didn't know how it would go. You can probably hear the rain. Hopefully it's not too loud. A new venture for me. I didn't know how it would go, but I'm really pleased that everyone seems to really enjoy it. And I will still be doing the hand dyed, don't worry. It was just to add a different element to Irish artisan yarn. Because I know that a lot of times hand dyed has its place and it's beautiful, but sometimes you want to knit in a solid or crochet. So that is the ranunculus. The different colourways we have, the rain is really beating down now. We have a couple of new colours if you've seen this before. Obviously the Wild Berry, which you saw, but we have Natural, which is just such a lovely, really lovely, can't really say much about it, natural fawn colour. We have Dove, which is new. So let's see if I can hold these at the same time. We did have Steel, which is like a dark grey. And you can see that this yarn is like a heathered yarn. I really wanted to bring that heathered yarn in because having the inspiration in Ireland and the sort of heathered landscapes, I really wanted a sort of soft heathered yarn, but it wasn't rustic feeling. This is the softest yarn. Alpaca is predominantly really soft. It is, let me remind myself, I've got so many different yarns. It is 70% baby alpaca and 30% non-superwash merino. But it is just gorgeous. Look at those together. Really, really lovely. So it's got that sort of heathered look, but without the feeling of rough yarn. And then we have Fig, Teal and Petal. Petal was so popular last year. I'm going to show you the most amazing garment made up in it. We have Fig and Teal. You can see the difference between the Petal and the Teal. The Teal's much brighter. This is the Lulu Slipover by Petite Knits. This was knitted by Annie for me and I love it. I was going to wear this today. You'll probably see me in another video wearing it. I've got so many different gorgeous samples that I've got the choice of things to wear, but I'm not a big slipover fan. I am quite broad in the shoulder and I just find they never fit me very well. I just, yeah, never got on with them. But I love this pattern because it's got deep armholes. So for me, it fits really well, because there's nothing worse than having a shoulder fit where the arm is so tight, or like it just doesn't sit very well, you know, doesn't sit where it should sit. But I have to say, really love this. And I did have, I've heard a few people who have made it, but I think they've ended up not doing the higher neck. It's got sort of like a turtleneck type vibe. But I'm really happy with that, and I adore the colour. So that is the colourway Petal. See if I can go close, and then you can get a good look at the colour. You can see that sort of very slight marled. So it has this really lovely, it's actually like a vibrant green that's been spun into it. This heathered look. So that is Petal, and then some other colours we have are indigo, cornflower, denim and moss. So moss we haven't had for a very long time. That was one of the newer ones, because a lot of people said about a green, and it's got, you can see all the different tones in the green there. And then the blues, sort of blues we have. So we have indigo, cornflower and denim. And this is just such lovely yarn. So that will all be available, and this is all ready to ship. And I should note that we ship worldwide, so it doesn't matter where you are, we ship to you. The website is all set up. If there's any issues, you can always email me, but we do ship to America. The tariffs are added on at the end. But like I said, any issues, send me an email. I should also note that because we are in Northern Ireland, there are no customs charges to Europe. So Southern Ireland, Europe, so we have special labels for the parcels that say there's no customs charge for this. So we have loads of customers, well, loads obviously in the south because we're in Northern Ireland, but France, Spain, Germany, and they don't have to pay import duty on their parcel. So just thought I would add that. And obviously if you are in England, Scotland or Wales, you don't pay, because we're in Northern Ireland, which is part of the UK, so I should add that too. So we ship via Royal Mail, so no customs for anywhere, UK or Europe. Northern Ireland has its own little funny sort of rules, but quite beneficial in this regard. So some of the other yarns, we'll talk you through the alpaca silk and the bamboo, and then we're nearly there. I have a pattern I want to show you. So this is done with colour work for the bamboo, merino bamboo silk, and this mixes the hand dyed with the studio yarn. So this was the whole idea behind Studio IOI. I really wanted to offer more semi-solids. I do everything you see by myself. My parents help me, my dad helps me a lot in the business, my brother was helping me today do some labelling, that was just a one-off. My husband helps me, but there's only so much I can physically dye. So that was why Studio IOI was sort of born and evolved. So the idea was that we have these lovely solids, semi-solids, solids, which then we can match or work with the hand-dyed yarn. So this is the Art Nouveau sweater by Elenor Mortensen. Again, I will put these all in the show notes. This is such a lovely pattern. I have worn this jumper non-stop over Christmas. Ironically, it ended up being a little bit festive with the way the sort of green worked, but I loved it. I actually don't own a Christmas jumper. I'm trying to really cut down on buying, well, I don't buy a lot of clothes anyway. I try and work with sort of a smaller capsule wardrobe, as they say. But this year I said, if I buy stuff, I want to be intentional. Like last year, I invested in one really good pair of leather sandals. Sounds a bit weird. But then I like all the other shoes I bought, I've kind of disregarded, but I bought, you know, they weren't cheap, but they are incredibly comfortable. And I thought that's what I'm going to do. So it's a bit like when we buy yarn for knitting a lovely garment. So I sort of said that to my husband, I want to be intentional about what I'm going to make, but also like what I buy. So the fact that I have no Christmas jumpers, but then can wear all these beautiful hand knits, because again, this could be a bit like a Christmas jumper. So this is the colourway Malachite on the 4-ply merino cashmere studio yarn, and then this is hand dyed. This is Nara, and I'll show you it in the skein. It is this one, which we have in stock, and we also have Malachite. Again, this colour has been sold out since September, October, but now that it's so popular, and we'll be restocking it. So this is going to be available. So if you want to make this sweater, you can, because I've got enough. So I'm just going to zoom in on that colour work. Ellen, I can't remember her Instagram handle, but she knit this for me. She's knitted a lot of samples, and it is just absolutely amazing. And she made it a bit longer. A lot of garments I get made longer. I I suppose you don't realise till you start knitting, I am quite long in the body. If I wear high-waisted trousers, it's fine. But well, I mainly wear high-waisted trousers, but as in, I hate, like, some jumpers, honestly, they sit about here on me. It's crazy. So she knitted this. That's why it looks a bit long, but I adore it because I sort of tuck it in and it's just such a comfy, so soft because of the cashmere sweater to wear. So that is, I'm really pleased with how the colour combination worked, because again, you don't know what it's going to look like when you have colour work against a colour. A lot of you probably know this, but I was always taught the tip, if you take a photograph, especially if you're doing something like this, the jumper I'm wearing, the Kismet, if you take a photograph, sorry, got a bit too excited there and the camera was about to fall over. If you take a photograph in black and white, or take a photograph, turn it into black and white, and if there's enough contrast between the two colours, it will be okay for colour work, and if they look too similar, it won't. So top tip. Maybe you knew that already, you can let me know in the comments, but I found it really helpful. I used to be, if you haven't watched the previous video, you can watch it before. I used to be a weaver and hand dyer and do colour work for William Morris, Softening and Sanderson. And whenever we were colouring all the embroideries and things, it was amazing how we had to make sure that we would keep the depth. If something was a dark green, you could change it to a dark blue or a dark plum, but you wouldn't change that colour to like a light silver, because otherwise it wouldn't work for the embroidery. So yeah, just an interesting tip. But that is the Art Nouveau sweater, and like I said, this is the colour Malachite. But I'm going to talk you through the two other bases, so the Baby Alpaca Silk and the Merino Bamboo Silk. So the Baby Alpaca Silk, really lovely soft base. There is a range of colours available. Let me just see if I can hold these up. I'll do the purples first. So we have Narren, which you will have seen on the bamboo before. Then we also have Limerick, which is a bit more purple. We have Bougainvillea. I love the way this has come out. And then Donegal. So those are the sort of purpley options. Then the sort of more greens. So you can probably really hear the rain. It's the most horrible afternoon. The afternoon, evening, I cannot wait to just go and sit and knit this afternoon or this evening. So we have Olive Grove, Keel, Parga and Cork. Hopefully that's focused. And then the sort of more neutrals. It's quite a good way of doing it. We have Achill Island, Dublin and Mizenhead. One of the first colourways I ever dyed on alpaca silk, actually. So those ones are all in stock. Again, limited amount, but if you are on the website at 6 PM on Friday, you'll hopefully get what you want. And then we have the Merino Bamboo Silk, and then we're nearly gone through everything very, very quickly. A couple more things, but that's it. So I showed you the Narren colourway, just to remind you. So obviously what that sweater was done in for colour work. We have Narren, Greece, and then we have Dunfanaghy and Bougainvillea. Hopefully that is getting a good picture. This is a new camera that I've got and a new setup, which I'm really liking so far with the microphone and stuff, much better for the sound and the picture. Then we have, let me see. Then we have Lahinch, Venice, Brompton Bay, Parga, and then Corfu. I love the way Corfu looks. Sort of, that would be so lovely in a maybe as colour work with like a neutral sweater, actually. Just something a bit subtle. Which would look quite nice with this colour I'm wearing, clay. And then the final thing I think to chat about, so I'm just running through everything, talked pattern ideas, talked about the minis launching. Obviously I've told you about my website, which will all be linked below in the description. But the Merino Cashmere, which I've talked to you what I'm wearing. There are also, you should probably know this off by heart, 5, 6, 7, I think 11 colours. 12 colours, 12 colours. Trying to remember them all. There are obviously the colours I'm wearing. And then we have Plum, which has not been on the website, but this really lovely, rich plum colour. So this will be available. I'm just going to show you some of the other colourways, because it's quite, like, you can see them on the website, but sometimes it's hard depending on what, sort of, if you're looking at it on a computer, a tablet, a phone, how the colour comes across. We have Denim and Seaglass, sorry. I don't know where the grass came from. Seaglass. You wouldn't think I named these colours, would you? At the minute we're doing, my son is 5 and we're doing rhyming words, and it's just so funny. I can hear myself sort of in my day-to-day going around rhyming words when obviously he's not even there with me. Then we have, I showed you these as samples knitted up, but you have Malachite, which is the top one, and Emerald, so you can see the difference between them, because they sometimes look a bit similar from a distance, but you can see there's a lot more green. That's actually a really good, pretty good replica of the colour. And then I'll just give you, I have to stretch now to reach these ones. Obviously there is Indigo, which I'm wearing on the arm, but you could also do it in Stone, which is this Smoke. My brain, I apologise. The Smoke colourway. And then we have the Clay, which I'm wearing here, and 2 more colours, which are, sorry, out of shot, Rosewood and Calico. Get the names right. So if you were thinking of doing more like a neutral, I thought that would be really lovely if you did these 4 colours for a sweater. You know, if you're thinking of doing maybe even what I'm wearing. So Smoke, Clay, Rosewood and Calico. So I think I have run through everything in the shop update for you. The irony is I did write show notes, but I didn't actually bring them out, and I sometimes find it easier just to do it like this. But I hope you enjoyed. Obviously, I haven't shown you any knitting or anything I'm working on. I'm going to save that for another video. But let me know in the comments what you'd like to see next. If you enjoy seeing the patterns, because I can maybe also do some videos where I have some pattern ideas from Ravelry and talk you through different yarn combinations. It's quite nice to see how they work together. But this shop update will be available this Friday. So I'm filming this on Wednesday. The 21st. This will be available Friday, the 23rd of January at 6 p.m. on the website. You can also sign up to the mailing list on the website, which means that you will then get an email when it's all live with links to buy things. So I hope you enjoy, and thank you so much for all your support and the lovely comments that I received on the last video. It really meant so much because, like I said, I did not really focus on YouTube the last few years, but I really want to make it something that I do more because I enjoy watching them, and I was chatting to different people and they enjoy watching them, so I thought I may as well give it a go. So the next one will be more of a sit down like the previous one, more of a sit down podcast talking about what I'm doing. I was actually sewing at the weekend, so I might add that. Let me know if you're keen to see all the different aspects that I do, because obviously this is the business side of me, but I was thinking about bringing in what I actually enjoy to do as hobbies as well, which is obviously knitting and crocheting. But I also love all the different things. So I was sewing a quilt for my daughter in Liberty fabric, which I will talk to you about maybe in another video if that'd be keen. And then I was also looking at doing a quilt for my son, some dressmaking, and then I'm also doing some embroidery. So there's so many different things. You probably let me know if you're in the same boat where any type of activity, craft you do. I also, the other day, was like, oh, maybe I should do a painting for our bedrooms. I'm contemplating doing that as well. So lots of different things, but I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for your support, and I will see you on the next video. Have a great rest of your day. I hope you enjoy, if you get some time to knit and relax or crochet. I'm going to go make a nice warm cup of tea, warm up, and choose what I'm going to do tonight while I watch The Traitors. Let me know below if you're watching. This is the UK Traitors, I should say, we're watching. I am really enjoying this season. My husband and I are thoroughly laughing at it. We have to like watch it when it's out, because otherwise I don't want anything to be ruined the next day on the internet. So let me know if you're watching it below, and thanks so much for watching.